All right, guys, PoE 2 massive update, the third edict.
And welcome.
Let's check it out.
Live. Today we're going to show
was
an
this live?
exclusive reveal of what's coming next for Path of Exile 2.
Oh, well, we're reacting to it now.
Enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Sun Priest's Incineration rare finisher effect by following the instructions below. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. It's time to give you a teaser of what's coming.
I'm so excited to see
third edict.
What are they adding, man. I've heard so many good things, but I haven't seen it yet, so it's my reaction too. Hopefully we get the new axe.
I have called you here to save our people. To save
Thanks, Red-Eye.
our way. Over the ages, we have known pain like no other, but we endured. And we became...
Oh, are they adding a boat?
Now, outsiders dishonor our shores, and we have stood by, doing nothing. Hear my voice, ancestors. Show us your strength. Show us the true way. I understand.
Okay, show me a new class. That's a new boss, right? Ooh, what is that, shark? Oh, dual blades. That's new, right? Oh, do we get to finally fight him? That guy was wearing people as necklaces. That guy was awesome. So I'm guessing we're getting a new act, right?
The true Makura Makoi will rise.
Act 4. 3 interlude act. What's an interlude act? 35 new areas, so I'm guessing new maps, right? 24 new bosses. I remember they said they were gonna have 100 bosses, right? That was their goal, right? Massive skill reworks. 40 lineage supports. 25 endgame maps. New items. Come on, new class. Oh wait, 150 new notables. Sprinting? Wait, whoa, hold on. They said that there is a trade system. Let me see that interface. So this is a merchant. So I'm guessing, I'm wondering, is this like player-to-player trading? Because it looks like there's a tabula rasa over there. But if we finally have actual trade in the game, oh my gosh, they just kind of dominated right there. That's so big. It's specifically the trade that was the most annoying thing. And D4 still doesn't have trade. The only other game that has like trade is Last Epoch, but it's kind of like you need to get this certain thing up, and it's just not quite there. Like, I just want straight up, I want to pay gold or whatever currency and get my item. I don't want no gimmicks. I don't know why so many modern games just can't get that right. And if Path of Exile can do that, it's so huge. Diablo is vastly far behind in terms of trade. We still have to go to Diablo trade and whisper 50 different people that never respond. But I was really expecting a new class. But, well, hold on, let's see. And it's also coming out August 29th, so 8 days from now.
Now, as you can see, there's a lot going on. And we have a lot.
Oh, I think PoE 1 is better than 2, as right now. But hold on. Wait,
the next chapter
okay, yeah, let's check out everything.
But that's not all. There's also 3 new
what's an interlude
act? Endgame, which means we're removing full difficulty too.
Oh my gosh, that's massive.
Going through the massive
that is
changes to
huge.
characters.
Super excited to major rebounds, all classes buffed. If there's no nerf to Lightning Spirit, I still will be honest. Amazon still is going to be the class I'm locking in every single league. That's like my favorite.
Added new skills, and yes, there are buffs. Next, we'll go over the Rise of the Abyssal.
Okay.
This season's exclusive league mechanic, and talk about the new rewards, crafting systems, areas, and bosses that it adds.
Okay.
After that, it's on to changes we're making to the endgame. Then it's time to talk about items, crafting, and oh yeah, trade. That's going to be a big one.
Buy items when sellers are...
Oh,
wait, it says when sellers are offline. That is insane. So you're telling me I can play PoE, grind all day, list all my items, and wake up the next day and hop back in? I just wish that it would work when they are online and offline. Why would you want to encourage that? You know what that's going to do? Is make people buy another PoE account, go on, get all the items, offload them to that account, then sign out. Why? Why not just have it like live? Well, maybe it'll make sense though.
Finish up with a
Maybe
live
it'll be
Q&A
both.
session
Oh, it
where
works
Ziggy
both
D
on.
will
Oh,
ask
okay,
part
okay,
of
okay.
Exile 2's game director
I just don't know why it says
myself and Mark your questions
offline,
from
but
Twitch chat.
that is awesome.
And
though.
after that, at 4
It's
p.m.
both.
Pacific,
If it's
patch
both,
notes.
that is
They're not quite complete,
huge.
but they should give you some nice details to chew on.
It's too massive because that
We've
means
got a lot
you're
to
going to be
cover today.
incentivized
But
to
first,
come
another
back,
announcement.
right?
When the third edict launches on the 29th, we'll be having a free weekend for
This
Path of
is so
Exile 2.
big because you know what this means. I always get asked, how come Path of Exile 2 is not free? Now it's finally free because I covered Diablo, Path of Exile 1 and 2, but this is huge. Progress is saved, play on Xbox and PlayStation.
That's right. Path
Oh,
of Exile 2 will be free for the first time.
And
without
it's playable on
requiring an early
console?
access key.
ooh.
The free weekend will end on September the 1st.
Yeah,
so you'll have
it's
plenty
just a
of time
free
to give the game
weekend.
a try.
But either way, it's huge because
All right.
people are going to check
Let's
it
get
out,
started with
right?
Act
Good for
4.
us content creators. Because I always
The
think about
story
that.
continues from the end of Act 3. Doryani has agreed to help you find an ancient weapon that can be used against corruption, the instrument of the Third Edict. The weapon was broken in ages past.
Oh, I'm
but
sure
he
it'll give
believes
them
that the
sales.
pieces may be found in the
100%.
Karui Archipelago, the home of the Karui tribes.
I don't know, we can maybe throw in subtitles if they have it.
You will
yeah.
need to journey to Kingsmarch.
Just in case, I'm
hire a
yapping
ship
too much.
and set sail. When you open the map, you can choose to sail anywhere you like.
Oh,
Act 4 is completely non-linear, and you can visit the islands in any order you choose.
that's kind of cool. But then are the
Will you
monster
visit
levels
the
too
pristine
low?
beaches of Whakapanu Island? The Karui whisper of a curse that afflicts all who travel there. Perhaps it's related to the weapon you seek. Or maybe you will visit the volcanic shores of the Isle of Kin. The Kin have been more restless recently, mining for sulfite and driven by some dark force.
He's playing
Perhaps
with
you will
the
choose to
people's
consult with one of the local Karui
That's
tribes.
amazing.
Their ancient wisdom could hold clues to finding the Third Edict. No matter where you choose to go, you will fight dangerous beasts, find fabulous treasures,
Nice.
and battle incredible bosses.
A challenger! Come.
We got Wukong over here, or Yama the White.
There are 8 islands to discover, each teeming with its own flora and fauna. Act 4 contains over 100 new monster types, 16 new
Wait,
areas,
100 new monsters?
12 new bosses, and plenty of other interesting encounters. There's a huge amount to show, but we're not going to spoil too much here.
Age restricted,
We want
Cap.
to give you a chance to discover it all for yourself.
He hasn't seen nothing.
What happens after Act 4?
Hello, Sam.
Well, until now, you had to repeat the entire campaign again before you could face the endgame. But after adding Act 4, the game is far too long to make you do that. We needed something else to do in between the end of Act 4 and the endgame. So what else could we do? Add 3 new mini-acts, of course, and we're calling them the Interludes.
A mini act.
The Interludes are a set of 3 temporary side stories that will be included in the game until Act 5 is released, that will take you to level 65 where the endgame
Perfect.
can begin.
That's so much better, dude.
The first interlude sends you on a journey back to Ogham. Renly has been leading the efforts to rebuild Ogham Village after the defeat of Count Geonor, but there's a new danger afoot. The nearby town of Holton is surrounded by an impenetrable darkness, and each night their corrupted townfolk emerge to raid the local farmlands. You'll discover new areas and new bosses.
That's a POV1 boss, isn't it, though? To
You'll
be
need to find
fair.
your way through the darkness,
Fine, though.
uncover the source of corruption,
Soon you will serve our master.
and defeat it.
Yes, I shall dance with their corpse.
And that's just the first interlude. The second interlude will have you return to the Vasteri Desert, where Asala has been given a sacred duty. When the skies align, the gifting of water requires a chosen Sekima to meet with the Selkari, guardians of the sacred water, but they're nowhere to be found. You will need to track down the Selkari, find those responsible for disrupting the gifting, fight even more new bosses.
Yeah, okay. So as long as the
Discover the
interlude
secrets of
feels
the ancient
different
ritual.
enough is what I'm hoping for.
Discover new locations, and ultimately help Asala carry out her sacred duty. Now for Interlude 3. As Royal Thaumaturge of the Vaal, Doryani had plans within plans to save his people from the cataclysm perpetuated by Atzeri's lust for power. One such plan involved sealing a group of willing Vaal deep in a great mountain vault near the home of the Asmeri, deep enough to survive the cataclysm. Even though thousands of years have passed, he believes that their descendants may still live, and may be key to defeating the beast. The journey up the mountain will be dangerous. New foes stand in your way. And the further up the mountain
Looks
you
good
venture,
though, man.
the colder it will become.
Did they add Druid yet? I don't know, man. We haven't gotten a new class
caves of ice
announced
and
so
enter the
far.
vault itself.
Maybe they're gonna do
Who
it
can
for the
say
very
what you will
end.
find within?
I'm hoping.
The
Any
interludes
new
are 6
class.
to 7 areas each, and generally include 4 boss fights as well.
Okay.
When you put that together with Act 4, that adds up to 35 new areas in the campaign and 24 new bosses. It's worth making clear that the interludes are temporary. When Act 5 and 6 are added, the interludes will be going away.
So they're just making all this content
These are
to go
side
away?
stories after all. But don't worry, the bosses and areas that make up the interlude are all part of the endgame.
Oh,
I'm not just
okay.
going to throw them away.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that wouldn't make sense.
And with that, we don't need cruel difficulty anymore.
So that's
We do know
definitely
that it was
good
a pretty
change.
big chore to have to play through the campaign multiple times on each character. And this was a huge reason that the campaign could feel like a bit of a slog when playing through again. But we do also have another new feature to address that particular concern as well.
Faster.
So let's talk
Sprinting.
about
yeah, this
sprinting.
is definitely nice.
In 030, when you hold down the dodge roll button, your character will go into a sprint after they finish the roll. This is available on all character classes, and there's no limitation on how long you can sprint for.
Oh, okay,
The
there's no
primary
stamina.
purpose of this feature is to make navigating areas faster when out of combat. Because of that, if you do take a hit while sprinting, you'll fall to the ground. The
Okay,
best idea is
kinda
to use a
fair.
skill when you see monsters. That'll break you out of the sprint so you can engage with no danger.
Okay.
If you do need to run away from monsters, just hold spacebar. You won't be vulnerable during the roll, and you're faster while sprinting than basically any monster in the game, allowing you to retreat from combat. Sprint is a pretty significant change to PoE 2's gameplay. What I like most about it is that we can accelerate the pace of the game for those who want that, without having to compromise on PoE 2's more visceral combat systems. Okay, so that's the new extensions to the campaign, but there's a whole giant league to play through as well. I'll leave that to Mark to talk about later.
Oh, yeah, the
And that's
new
because what I
league.
want to talk about now is the new stuff for your characters. And probably one of the biggest new systems here is with the support gems.
Okay, please, you can just run
Now,
multiple
support
copies.
gems are one of the most interesting elements.
That was
to
an
creating a
annoyance.
build.
Only
They want to
Gem
enable
Link could do
so
that.
many interesting mechanics and different ways to play. But PoE 2's support gem system has just never been quite right.
Yeah, because you
One of the
nerfed
major
took
issues
all
is the
the
limitation
yeah
of only
that
having one
and the
support gem of
nerf
each
of
type
like
on your character.
every single gem in the
We didn't
game.
want builds to just become using the same 5 most powerful supports in every skill. The problem with this design, though, is that it's actually working against using multiple skills in your build.
Exactly.
If
yes.
you can only use each support gem on one skill,
They actually
it
finally
means that
understood
you're
it.
encouraged to go all
Yep,
in on that one
exactly,
ability.
exactly.
We want to encourage you to combo your abilities. Something needed to change. So with that in mind,
So what are they
we've
gonna
removed the
do?
restriction of having one of each support
Okay,
gem per
that
character.
yeah, okay.
You can now use as many copies as you like.
That's so much better though.
This should drastically increase the amount of possible builds and increase the amount of skill diversity.
Yeah, I'd say that that simple.
There are
I
a lot of potential builds that suffered from
wonder if they were
previous
going to do
restriction.
anything else.
For example, a poison build previously couldn't add poison to more than one skill. They couldn't use stacking poison on more than one skill either. This severely limited your ability to combo with anything outside of the specifically designed poison archetype, but now you can. Many utility skills previously couldn't scale to endgame, because the supports that would make them scale were more useful to use on other skills. You would never speed up killing Palm with martial tempo, when you would much rather use it on your primary skill instead. There are more examples like this all over the place. In addition to that, though, we thought there wasn't enough feeling of progression in the supports as you went through the game. There were only 3 tiers of supports, and many of the most important ones
Oh,
were
they're
given
doing
out
1,
at tier
2,
1.
and 3s now.
Also, there were no strict upgrades, meaning that upgrading supports when you ran out of sockets required quite a lot of thinking. In order to solve these issues, we now also have multiple levels of many supports as you go through the game. For example, double barrel support gives you an extra bolt, but at the cost of 30% less reload speed. At tier 2, the penalty gets lowered to 20%. But then at
It's
tier
just
3,
like
the
see,
support gem
like
does
this
something
system.
new.
It's literally just PoE 1. Like you just upgrade the gem, but like because the support gems don't get upgraded in PoE 2. I just don't get why they did that, but I still
Now
like
reloads
it's still
automatically
better
when
than
you heavy stun an
nothing.
enemy. In some cases, the highest tiers might work a little differently.
You know what's so
have to
weird?
decide.
People have mentioned that PoE 2 is just repeating PoE 1, and it totally is. It's literally just like what Diablo 4 is doing with Diablo, Diablo 4 is basically copying Diablo 3 systems, and like, it's
You like
fine
it or
though.
not,
It
depending on
really
the build.
is.
For example, rapid casting. The first couple of
It's
levels
the
gives
same
15 and
exact
20%
thing,
increased
though.
cast speed. But then at tier 3, it changes to a new approach. For each
Oh, wait, hold
different
on.
spell you cast in the last 8
Oh,
seconds,
okay,
you
if
get
it changes
10%
up.
increased cast speed. which could be a pretty big bonus.
Okay, so there is reasons. Okay, so you might want to
upgrades
swap.
through the campaign, but we wanted to add a little more spice to the endgame for supports.
Oh, you know what they need to add?
And that's where our new
Alterations.
system, lineage supports comes in. You can think of these like unique items, but for supports. There are supports that are only available at endgame, but they're much more powerful.
They need some
Like Wrath of
fractured
the Soul.
items. Ooh, what is
It's
this?
an upgraded version of double barrel that reloads your skill as you dodge roll, as well as
that's
increasing
cool.
the number of bolts it can hold. But it does mean that it's the only way you can reload the skill now. Now, unlike regular supports, you can't find these through the uncut support gem.
Ah, okay.
Just like unique items, many of these can be found from specific bosses.
Okay. Supported spell echoes 2
And
times.
there's a ton in the regular drop pool too.
Okay.
Some of them are fairly rare,
Quality of support.
others fairly common.
Oh. Killing blow.
Some of them
okay.
are build defining. Others are just straight up power upgrades.
Oh, wait.
All in
Elemental
all,
res
there's
is
around 40
invert?
lineage
That's
supports
pretty
being added
big.
throughout the end game.
Okay.
So there's a lot of power to find out there. Now, the new support gems are certainly going to open up a lot of builds, but of course we have a huge range of improvements to individual character classes as well. As well as adding new skills, we had a big focus on buffing existing skills so that they can scale well into the end game. There's a huge amount to cover here, so we're not going to discuss everything. We're just going to quick fire through some of the coolest changes.
Okay.
We wanted to make cold a more useful element on the Ranger, so we've expanded the cold tools available. As well as increasing its range, Escape Shot now creates fragments of ice whenever it hits the ground.
Oh, those
These
explode?
fragments
Okay.
explode after a short time, making the skill better for killing groups of enemies. But not only that, we added an ice fragment support that creates more of them when killing frozen enemies. And a new buff skill called Ice Tip Arrows that allows all your arrows to create ice fragments. This already gives
Wait,
players a
hold on.
range
I
of
kind of want to look at this
arrows to
real
create.
quick. So it empowers 3 attacks. It only works for 3 attacks. Now, if there's some sort of way to like automatically, I don't know, cast on crit or something like that, it's a spell though. So I don't know.
This already gives
see.
players a range of wanting to use ice. But to take further advantage of the ice fragments, Freezing Salvo has been upgraded to shoot additional cold arrows towards every fragment, giving you a nuke-like ability.
They're cooking. Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
We've also modified Snipe to consume frozen from enemies, dealing a huge amount more damage, giving you a nice ice single target option. And something you might notice about this is that the bonus is a lot higher against bosses. This is actually a change you'll see throughout the entire game.
Yeah, that.
Since it's a lot harder to freeze a boss, you should get a bigger reward for it. Another theme you'll see throughout the game is making movement feel better. Toxic Growth is a skill that was pretty cool, but a bit annoying to use with the jump that it had. Now Toxic Growth is a range skill, so you can spam it more easily. And we've also added a new poison skill while we were at it, called Toxic Domain.
Oh, so adding new
It
skills too.
creates a small area around you that makes all your attacks create toxic growth pustules, but attached to monsters. Another skill that was annoying to use was Electrocuting Arrow. It's now just a regular arrow, making it easier to use. But it also means you can support it with projectile supports. And it now also has Area of Effect, making it a tool for more than just single target, and allowing it to scale into the endgame. We also added a new spirit
Mirage Archer's
innovation
back.
called Mirage Archer. This is a meta skill that allows you to create shadowy clones of yourself to use a skill of your choice.
Oh, you can do it with spear? Oh, yes, that's what I want. Wait, hold on. I want to read the full thing because I actually care about this. Not that I don't care about any of the other ones, but it's 30% less damage. Okay, so you cannot create a new one or if you have dodge rolled. Okay, so it's 60% spirit. While active, dodge rolling will create a mirage that uses socketed range attacks for. So it's socketed ranged attacks. So if you only have one, then it hopefully will only use one. Okay, dodge roll. Okay. So dodge roll creates it.
Your choice.
Oh, so it doesn't just activate on its own. Okay.
Of course, one of the other big problems the Ranger had was survivability. Evasion was the weakest of the 3
What,
defenses.
really?
and we
I
wanted
felt
to
like
change
it was
that.
pretty good, to be honest. I thought it was
Evasion
so
doesn't
good.
evade all types of hits in the game, so you're still vulnerable to things like slams or unblockable
I mean,
attacks.
that's true. But this way you bust out
To
those
make Evasion
charms.
characters more tanky, we're adding a new mechanic called Deflect.
Okay.
Unlike Evasion, Deflect works on everything, and if you successfully deflect a hit, you take 40% less damage. Items can now give you a mod that gives you some amount of deflection based on your evasion.
Okay, that's, it gain deflection equal to, so I don't know what that number needs to be. What's their deflection at? They're at 2,000, 2,500. Okay. I think we can hit
And
it.
there's a bunch of it available on the
Oh,
passive
okay. If
tree
there's
too.
a bunch of it too.
Deflection is rolled in addition to evasion, so this is an upgrade for regular hits too. And unlike evasion, there's no maximum chance. You can reach 100% deflect against all hits if you spec into it enough.
Okay.
Of course, this is a buff that helps all Dex characters, so the Mercenary and the Monk, but especially the Huntress, are seeing big defense boosts.
Dude,
from
it's
this as
fine.
well.
I don't even, yeah, it's like spell suppression, but for
Speaking of defensive
everything,
mechanics, let's talk about block and parry. Now, one of the big concerns on the release of the Huntress was parry feeling unreliable.
yeah, I would never use
One
it.
of the big reasons for this is there's a lot of hits that are not blockable, and thus not parryable either. So a huge balance change we're making is that now everything is blockable, except for specifically unblockable red flash skills that bosses use. This makes parry much more reliable. And not only that, but to make block and parry nicer to use, you now also move faster than before while using these abilities.
Okay, that's good for the
This
people
is
that
a
want to
massive
use it.
buff
But
with passive block as well. So to counter that, we did have to lower the max passive block a bit, but overall you should feel much safer. Fire skills on the warrior were not really cutting the mustard, so we decided we needed to upgrade a bunch of them, but also add some more as well. Let's start with a buff. Volcanic fish are now branches into multiple fishes, giving it much more clearing potential.
I'm still going lightning spear so
We've
far.
also added a new skill called Forge Hammer. This skill throws a molten hammer that does a slam at a distance. You can
But
recall the hammer
if there's
back by
something
using the skill again if you like.
that looks better, we'll
But
try
the
that
cooler
out.
thing to do is to use a Warcry near it. Using a Warcry makes the hammer explode, making a bunch of volcanic fishes around. Volcanic fishes re-trigger when you slam them, so it's a great skill to make a flaming arena to fight a boss. We also buffed Perfect Strike to have a much larger area of effect, and changed Molten Blast to not always force you to move forward. Trust me, it feels a lot better to use now. The skill now has massively boosted chance to ignite monsters as well. And you're going to want to ignite monsters due to a new glory skill called Ancestral Cry. Ancestral Cry charges up with glory by igniting monsters, invoking King Kaum's favor. After you do, use it to channel Kaum's ancestral power. Every attack will be ancestrally boosted with fire. Your very steps will explode, triggering volcanic fishes, and molten balls will erupt from your attacks.
I'm just hoping that Amazon doesn't get nerfed
Warrior
too
shield
hard.
skills were another area we wanted to improve. Now that we've got Sprint, we actually don't need to have a cooldown on shield charge anymore. It now also does more damage the further away you are when you use it. Shield Wall got significantly upgraded AoE. Also, you can shield charge right through it to trigger all the walls.
That's kind of cool.
We also added a new shield Warcry. Fortifying Cry gives you a defensive buff, but it also builds up charge on your shield that empowers your other shield skills. And Magma Barrier now doesn't require timing in order to use. Just wait for your shield to charge up and block. Seismic Cry now stuns enemies that are primed for stun. And we changed the Sunder interaction with Armor Break. It now also gives a Sundered Armor debuff that makes enemies take 40% extra physical damage.
40%.
It's great for bosses.
Yeah.
Ancestral Warrior Totem has undergone some pretty significant changes too. We wanted the skill to feel more like using an ultimate. That summoning an ancestor to fight for you was a big deal. So we've changed this totem to require 3 endurance charges to summon, and massively buffed its damage. It also now scales with your weapon damage too.
I feel like the charges are really hard to generate in PoE 2 compared to PoE 1.
Since there's no
though.
limit anymore, if you build around generating endurance charges, you can summon an entire forest of totems. In order to make that easier, we added some new sources of endurance
Hold
charges.
on. Is there... okay. We need frenzy charges though for the lightning arrow. Or what is it? The lightning spear. Okay, so gain endurance charge when hitting an enemy with supported skill when perfectly timed. But I think there's conversion, right? So 30% chance to gain endurance charge when heavy stunning a non-unique enemy with supported skills. Okay.
There's now a support
I don't
to
think
make
I'm going to be able
perfect
to use
strike
those.
charges,
We'll
and
see,
a support
though.
for generating endurance charges from heavy stuns as well. Speaking of totems, we wanted to upgrade the Warbringer. Among the other changes we've made to this class, Answered Call now gives an extra totem, and the spirits have just been generally buffed in many ways. Use it with your limitless ancestral warrior forest to make an army of Karui that would make Tukahama proud. We've also merged the Great Wolf Howl and Warcaller's Bellow support, so that you can get all the benefits with 1 point.
I'm
And
guessing these are
Encased
mostly
in Jade
buffs.
no longer removes the Jade when getting hit, making it a much better defense. Next up, let's talk about accuracy. Accuracy was always intended to be something that warriors didn't need to care about very much so long as they're in close combat. But unfortunately, that's not currently the case. This was particularly annoying with skills like Bone Shatter, which you certainly don't want to mess with. So we significantly buffed your chance to hit at close ranges when you don't have much accuracy. Warriors shouldn't require any accuracy investment in order to hit with close range attacks now.
Oh, that's nice. Save a couple
We
points.
also wanted to improve armor. Now, one of the major weaknesses of armor is the inability to defend against elemental damage. In order to mitigate this, we're adding a lot more of the stat that allows your armor to defend against elemental damage.
Oh,
It's now available on items and in a lot more places on the passive tree.
that's good. Survivability is definitely an
One of the
issue
most
for
important
newer
improvements we made
players
in
too.
030 is to declunk the action and flow of shooting crossbows.
So especially when it becomes
You can
free
now
for the
reload
weekend.
crossbows without any movement penalty.
That's good.
But not only that, all skills that can be used while moving now slow you for a shorter amount of time. This change benefits everyone, not just crossbow skills. With both of these changes put together, the run and gun playstyle feels much better. It's hard to explain how important this change is for the feel of the class. The Mercenary is also a good chance to talk about how we're rebalancing to make comboing skills much better. Take Shock, for example. It buffs damage and lasts 4 seconds right now, but that isn't really giving you enough time to take advantage of it. If you're going to add a lightning skill into a build that otherwise wouldn't use one, we need to make mechanics like this much better. So we've increased shock duration on monsters to last 8 seconds. And skills like Plasma Blast, which are intended to be good at shocking enemies, now increase the damage bonus by a lot more. You'll find changes like this all around the game. Chill now lasts 8 seconds, giving you more of a reason to weave in cold damage. Freezing skills are better at freezing. Burning skills need to cause burns that last longer. But making skills like Permafrost Bolts and Incendiary Shot double down on how they're supposed to be used, it makes using them in your build alongside other skills much more likely. We're also making sure to buff specific combos too. The freeze explosions from frag rounds now chain to nearby enemies. And using high velocity rounds with armor break will now fragment the opponent's armor. This causes monsters to take a portion of high velocity rounds damage with every subsequent hit, even tiny pellets. So that means following it with a shotgun blast is way more effective. Now there's a lot more buffs to crossbow skills, but for now I'm just going to talk about the new one we added, the Mortar Cannon. This one lets you socket any grenade skill, and using it will summon a cannon which loads and then fires the grenade you choose.
It's like a ballista. Okay.
Another issue on the Mercenary were banners. They were just not very good, so we're doing a big upgrade to them. They now last longer, don't disappear when moving out of them, and we removed the Valor mechanic. They now just give a much more consistent and stronger buff, and you can use them when you get enough glory. On which, one of the main focuses was making various minion types more useful to use together. Melee minions in particular were just not that great compared to ranged ones. As a starting point, we just straight up removed the requirement for minions to have accuracy. Attack minions now always hit, which makes them way better. Brutes got some good numeric buffs, but we also added a new command skill where they do a war cry that intimidates enemies and detonates any frozen monsters and allies around you in a big cold explosion. We've also changed the Frost Mage's command skill to an ability that adds ice armor to your other minions, adding a layer of defense. And it makes them deal cold damage back to the
I like
attacker
it in
as well.
PoE too how the minions
The ice
resummon though.
armor
That's a
also
really
makes
nice
the minion
thing.
count as frozen, so the Brute's war cry can detonate them too.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Unearth was
I like
changed
that
to work
idea.
on corpses of your dead skeletons, allowing you to summon the minions more easily in boss fights. And they also got a new jump ability, allowing them to get into combat faster. Ray's Spectre was also feeling pretty weak for the spirit cost they have. To be honest, we were a little afraid of these when we first balanced them. We've both decreased the spirit cost for a large range of monsters, and have significantly increased Spectre damage too. They should feel a lot more impactful.
Okay, that's good. There's a lot of games like the minions just fall off
There's
really
also a
hard.
lot of new
I
spellcasting
haven't tried
mechanics with newer
PoE2
cold
minions
skills.
though.
But I'll just talk about one of them that I thought was
Like at
particularly cool.
Endgame.
The Reaping Staff is actually a wicked scythe that gives you a new ability called Reap. When an enemy is low in life, you can dash forward and rake enemies with the scythe to cull them instantly, healing you.
Okay. Cool.
It can also inflict critical weakness on enemies too. Now, there's a lot of balance changes in the Witcher's Ascendancy classes, but I'll just talk about 2 of them for now. On the Blood Mage, you were previously required to spend your first points on Sangomancy, which really was supposed to be the downside for being able to access the powerful abilities on the rest of the class. In order to make picking the Blood Mage a better early option, we've made Sangomancy free, unlocking the power of the rest of the class immediately.
Oh,
On
you
the
just get-
Infernalist, the demon form wasn't something people were really using because you lost your weapon stats while transformed. Well, you no longer do, so it's a much better option.
Oh wow, that's gonna be a massive buff then, right?
On the Monk, the wind skills needed a big upgrade for sure. Staggering Palm can now stack up its duration if you use the skill multiple times in a row. So you can keep the effect of all your skills.
I'm just
throwing up
worried
wind
about
much more
the
easily.
Amazon nerfs, man. I mean, the crit that you got on that character it is
Wind
ridiculous.
Blast had the purpose of building up to dazing an enemy, but dazing just wasn't worth all that effort. Now it just dazes on hit, meaning a single Wind Blast will make all your skills stun enemies more easily. Following up with Vaulting Impact on a dazed enemy previously did a bunch of stun. Now it allows you to break your enemy's stance. When their stance is broken, following up with a fast attack will do way more damage. A cool build that certain people always enjoyed in PoE 1 was hand-to-hand combat, but until now we just didn't have a real way to make
The
it viable.
face breaker. Are they adding it?
Well,
Hollow
that changes
palm
now.
technique.
The
Oh,
monk,
okay.
as a true martial artist, now has the ability to learn the hollow palm technique.
Is it on like a
Keystone
jewel?
lets you use all quarterstaff
Oh, it's just a
skills while
keystone.
unarmed.
This is cool. Okay,
All
I
quarterstaff
kind of
attacks
want to
now have
build
a
this.
special unarmed version, and you get further bonuses to all your attacks from stacking energy shield and evasion on your character.
This might be kind of fun to mess around with.
A new keystone we also added to the monk section of the tree is Walker of the Wilds. This changes mana leech to work with elemental damage instead of physical, which is pretty useful for all those elemental attacks the monk has, but it works well for the ranger too. Now, one of the least used
Oh yeah, you can
Asynchronous
play
classes
Diablo
in the
4
game
and
is the
this. It's
Acolyte
going to be
of
free
Tooula.
for
So
a
we knew
weekend.
we needed to make some changes here. One of the key things we had to do was make the chaos damage that the Acolyte can do much more useful. So we've added a new skill, allowing chaos damage to ignite, shock, chill, and freeze.
Wow, okay.
Embracing the elemental prowess of the monk in a truly chaotic fashion. In addition, he can make all of his chaos damage leech. And we've buffed Into the Breach and Embrace the Darkness by moving the effects of the 4-point nodes into the base skills.
Oh, my bad.
He also gains a new notable, Grasp of the Void, which leaves void illusions behind you as you dodge roll. If they're killed, they do massive explosions of darkness, dealing damage to everything in sight.
It looks kind of like the
Now
Shaper.
let's talk about sorceress
really, yeah.
skills. One of the things we wanted to improve on the Sorc is the ability to use multiple elements together more effectively.
Well, yeah, with the gem changes, that's going to be a
Now,
very nice
this
change.
might seem small, but one of the things pushing you towards using a single element is debuffs like Elemental Curses, which lower resistances of a single element. In order to fix that, we're making quite a lot of game-wide changes to these kinds of mechanics to broaden what they apply to. So for example, there's no longer 3 curses for fire, ice, and lightning.
Let's just say weakness.
Instead, there's just a single curse that buffs all 3
That's
at the
good.
same
That's,
time.
that's a really good change.
And things like Frost Bomb, which gave you cold exposure, now give elemental exposure. You can use it to buff any of your other skills. We also wanted to make switching between different weapon sets smoother, so you can use different elemental staves more effectively.
Oh, so there's
To do
no
that, we've
cooldown?
removed the weapons
Oh,
cooldown.
yes, there's no
It now
cooldown.
happens instantly.
I'm assuming it's
This
for
applies
all
game-wide
classes,
too.
right? Yeah. I'm assuming it's all classes, not just
Now, we
sword.
didn't just want to
So
stop
that's pretty
there.
good for
We wanted to add some specific mechanics that work between
a
different
lot of
elements.
builds.
And that's where elemental infusions come in. Certain skills can now drop elemental infusions. For example, when a frost bomb explodes, it leaves behind a cold infusion on the ground. After picking it up, you can spend it on one of any number of different skills to transform how they work. Spark will create a nova of cold infused projectiles.
Oh, that's cool. But if you have to walk over and pick
Ice
all
Nova
these
will leave a
up,
chilled area on the ground. And we also added a new low-level skill that fires ice shards. Use it with cold infusion though, and the ice shards will explode. Orb of Storms now generates lightning infusions when you cast enough spells near it. And that's all spells, by the way, not just lightning. Once you have one, you could cast a lightning flame wall, which adds both fire and lightning damage to all the projectiles
Okay,
that pass
that's
through
cool.
it. Or power up Ember Fusillade with lightning, which will generate arcs to nearby enemies as each fireball hits. Or maybe go lightning on lightning with arc. This skill is now a projectile, and by infusing it, you can go full Palpatine. Get fire infusions by blowing up monsters with living bomb. Then use them with Comet to summon a giant fire meteor from the sky. Or use it with Firestorm, which transforms it from a small area into a much bigger one. Firestorm is unique in that it can be infused by multiple different elements at the same time. Add an ice infusion to rain down ice at the same time as the fire. And add lightning to add deadly strikes from the heavens into the mix. Or use it with all 3 to generate a storm that is truly apocalyptic. Cold Snap has been simply turned into Snap. Previously, you could use it to shatter ice, but now it works to detonate all of the different elemental ailments and makes them leave behind infusions. And just like how you could previously use it on Frostbolt, you can now also use it on Orb of Storms and Solar Orb to detonate those as well, which means you can create many infusions at once.
This is a really nice change.
We also have a Spirit Reservation skill and a support gem to help generate them too. On the passive tree, we've added quite a few new keystones to the Sorceress section. Here are a couple of examples. The Black Flame Covenant keystone converts your fire spells to chaos and causes your ignites to deal chaos damage. Your fire spells and ignites will also turn purple.
Oh, that's really awesome. Dude, the Stork looks like a really good class.
The Ritual Cadence keystone causes
for
your
just like
invocation skills to trigger
big
more
chaotic
turns.
explosions and all the
It makes them
elements.
trigger periodically over a longer duration instead of one. Great for those auto bomber builds. Now, in addition to skill changes, we've added a lot more options for the passive tree for each class. Overall, there are more than 100 new notables on the tree, usually around 20 per class, along with smaller clusters as well. Check out the old version. And here's the new version.
Gosh, dude,
it's
there's
a
like
lot
so
more dense,
many.
and there's more interesting nodes than before. Now, we probably can't go through too many of these in the live stream, so I'll just show you one from each class's area of the tree.
Okay.
We tried to be a lot more thematic with the new nodes. So, for example, the Molten One's Gift. It lets the benefit of Armor Break apply to your fire damage. Or how about Last Stand, which gives you lots of stats as your situation becomes more and more desperate. A lot of these have themes aligning with Ascendancy classes. Like for the Gemling Legionnaire, for example. You have crystallized immunities, which makes you immune to different status ailments, depending on which support gem color you have socketed the most.
I just feel like people just want to be
Another
immune to
Ascendancy
everything.
class line notable is Sanguimatic Rituals. It allows arcane surges to generate life instead of mana, unlocking that support gem to be used with the Blood Mage Ascendancy. In the Sork area, you'll find these Archon nodes that allow you to convert all of your elemental damage to a specific element. You become a Lightning Archon when you spend enough mana, after which all your skills will be converted to lightning. And you
Oh,
will
that's
do extra lightning damage
actually.
as well.
Oh my gosh, that's
We
so
have ones
cool.
for cold and fire too. With
So
different
now you
triggers.
just play the skill that you enjoy, and you can
Here's
just
another cool
convert
one.
to whatever. It's
Elemental
usually lightning
Practitioner
though.
gives crit
Lightning
bonuses
is just
if
so
you've
much
triggered
better
a
in the
skill
game.
recently, while also making crits generate more energy for triggers. Or maybe you'd like the Great Boar. It gives you a reason to stack dexterity to make you tougher, giving a bonus to life and stun threshold. Or the Cunning Fox. It straight up gives you 5% quality to all your gems.
Oh, so you can reach extra like breakpoints. That's
Now,
cool.
another major change is attribute requirements. We felt like players probably had a few too many nodes and attributes, and not enough in interesting
That's good.
passives.
That's a really good change.
So we lowered attribute
Yes.
requirements by 25%
Especially for
across
int
the board.
in like the ranger side of the tree.
That means you'll have more points to spend on interesting notables rather than just needing to allocate more strength, dex, and
Yes.
int.
Good. That's a good change.
Now, there are way more changes than just these. These are just some of the cooler ones we wanted to show off. But I'd say that's just about enough for now. We're not even half done yet. So I think it's time
We're
that we
not
talk
even
about the
halfway
league,
done?
the rise of the Abyssal.
When's the update?
And to
29th?
do that, I'd like to hand things over to Mark.
Eight more days.
As you just saw, even though there are major changes to the campaign for this update, we want to make sure that every time you come back for an expansion, each area feels different with something extra going on. It is really important to make sure your experience when returning between expansions is fresh and filled with new content. And the way we did this was through leagues. Every expansion we make has a league, which not only has a fresh economy, but also has new content exclusively available in that league. So, let's delve into the details of what Path of Exile 2's first official league is bringing to the table. The Abyssal are a race that have mastery of forbidden magics and necromancy. They were thought to be extinct, but have merely been biding their time underground. You first encounter signs of the Abyssal in Clairfell, where you discover that during the night, weaker members of the Undead Legion have been attacking the encampment. The townsfolk require your help to investigate where the monsters are coming from and put a stop to their attacks.
Out there, ancient creatures, lurking beneath the surface.
As you proceed through Rayclast, you'll find fissures in the earth connected to larger pits. The monsters normally inhabiting the area are being affected by it, harmed by it even, having their souls eaten to strengthen the Abyssal underground. As you defeat the monsters, the fissure closes and Abyssal emerge, angered by you killing their food. Once all those fissures have been sealed, the pit activates, and more Abyssal pour out. This is where the larger and more dangerous monsters reveal themselves, as hordes of Abyssal spew out from the pit to take your soul. If you kill a magic pack, then magic Abyssal arise. If you kill a rare, then a rare monster will emerge from the pit, having absorbed some or all of its modifiers for itself. This means the monsters emerging will generally be more difficult and more rewarding, as each modifier gives better rewards. If you are able to kill them all, the pit will seal shut. As each pit is closed, it reveals a potential reward. Abyssal troves will rise up out of the pits, allowing you to get some epic loot.
A nod rib. What is that?
Areas often contain many pits, with many fissures.
They should have had a define orb just drop.
Progress through the game, getting more intense. It doesn't stop there. When monster mods are absorbed,
29th is the
they
update.
have a chance to become infused with the dark necromancy.
But yeah, it's up on their
transforming them
host.
into abyssal modifiers. For example, you defeat this monster with the mana siphoner modifier. Their soul is eaten by the pit, and a rare monster emerges. The mana siphoner modifier has transformed into soul siphoner, and is now amplified in danger and reward. Abyssal pits also interact with other monsters and mechanics. If you defeat a rogue exile that's near one, it'll be revived as a lichborn that has multiple abyssal modifiers.
It's kind of like ritual
Lichborn
mixed in.
exiles even have their own unique jewel they can drop, if you are
Ooh.
lucky enough to encounter and kill them. If an abyss spawns near a boss, killing it will summon a gigantic giga larvae creature.
What the heck is this? This looks cool.
Monsters
I wanna see
imprisoned
the
in
fight.
essences near abyssal pits are affected by the abyss too. They will come with an additional new essence item that can be used to craft your items.
It's a cool looking
So,
helm.
that's your
It's
bread
like
and butter
alpha.
of the Abyssal League.
Is it called Alpha
Kill
helm?
surface-dwelling monsters, kill the emerging Abyssal, close the fissures, overcome pit encounters, and reap the rewards. There's a lot more to this league, however. As you complete abysses, you can find ancient pieces of bone, preserved from the remains of fallen
Oh,
lichborn.
there was like that rib.
These are one of the many rewards for your mission to seal the pits.
Desecrates?
You can use this on a rare item to imbue it with abyssal magic,
Oh, so that's
adding a
on the...
special hidden modifier to your item. But how do you reveal it? In Act 2 of the campaign, you'll encounter a new area. This area is overrun by the Abyssal and the Lost Men. After clearing through this area, you'll find the Well of Souls, a giant cavity with a massive vortex of souls swirling beneath you. So how do you reveal the mods on your Abyssal-infused items? Obviously,
So is
just
it like
throw
veiled?
them in, right?
Like, can you have
Yes,
3
that's
prefix,
exactly
3
what you
suffix,
do.
and the Abyssal mod?
Before throwing it in, you are given the option of how you want to transform it.
Let's see.
In the form of a choice of
Oh, it's
3
literally the
different
same thing.
modifiers.
Okay. It's like
Once you've
unveiling.
chosen your desired mod, throw it in, where it will absorb the power of the souls, and the ominous creature will then retrieve it for you.
Yes, you can. So you could have
These modifiers
7
can be
mods?
ones from the core mod pool, all the way through to specialized modifiers that cannot normally appear on items. During the campaign, you can use it as a way to more easily add useful existing mods, but during the endgame, there is a whole set of new and powerful mods you can add to your items. Like this mod for crossbows, that allows you to place an additional ballista totem. Or this one that adds spirit to your staff.
Wow, that's pretty dang
Or
good.
this one that allows you to generate more combo with your quarterstaff skills.
Okay, so we have additional power on the character
And
as
speaking
well.
of endgame, you can also use the system to craft waystones. With a preserved vertebrae fused into your waystones, you can get some new modifiers that push difficulty and rewards to new heights. Here are some examples of those mods. You always get a choice of 3, so you can avoid anything you don't think your character is capable of.
That's really good.
With this modifier, the natural inhabitants of the area are all spawned near abysses. And there are up to 9 additional abyssal pits in the area, making it just a full-on abyss ruckus. Or this one, which causes the final abyssal pit in the area to always result in a boss encounter, be it either one underground or one that emerges out. There are dozens of these waystone modifiers in total you can get from this crafting. That covers the new crafting mechanic. So what's left?
New class.
Well, we talked about how when closing pits, you can get abyssal troves. But sometimes when closing an abyss, you'll reveal an underground cavern that leads to the abyssal depths.
Oh, and probably a new, like, pinnacle boss?
After jumping into the depths,
Or Stygian
you'll
Vice?
find an abyssal city, swarming with legions of the undead. When underground, every single rare abyssal enemy will have an abyssal modifier. And at the end of the dungeon, you'll even find a rare with a more powerful Lichborn modifier. Once you're able to defeat this powerful rare, you can also find some nice rewards. Aside from the entire area being valuable due to the abyssal modifiers on the monsters, it has its own specific drops too. One example is a set of lineage supports that can rarely be found in these depths, like Kurgel's Leash. This support empowers both you and your minions when you command them, granting unholy might to you both. Another depth-specific outcome is a set of omen-like items that amplify your abyssal crafting.
I feel like the omens are just too
Additionally,
expensive, though.
we're adding some new socketables that can drop from the abyssal depths. Take Ulliman's Gaze, which can be socketed into your armor.
Crit
These
is
are a
lucky,
bit special in that you can only have one
That's kinda
equipped
cool.
at a time, but give some pretty
but
powerful
that
effects.
still means you have to parry.
Think of them as almost a unique socketable for your equipment. In the endgame, where you can still find depths, you also start to find a different type of underground chamber. In these areas, you'll find an ancient spire,
Cool.
a device being
oh.
used by commanders of the abyssal
forgot-
factions
is it called, like,
to
Raceway?
plunge
With
Rayclast
that-
into a lightless void.
That map in PoE 1 where you see those
Your goal
big
is
balls.
simple. Kill
Roll
this
down.
commander and destroy the spire. There are 4 bosses in the Abyss
Oh,
League,
there is a
and
Stygian
there are
Vice.
some pretty cool uniques available from them.
Oh, yeah, or
An
Darkness and
example
Throw.
is this belt,
Same thing.
Darkness and Throne.
Just having the
It
sockets.
has 2 sockets. But hold on, socketables don't work on belts. Well, this belt has a special mod that allows it to count as a different slot for the purpose of socketables.
It's cool.
This one, for example, counts as a helmet.
Wait, what?
I kind of want one that counts as a body armor. I wonder how rare that one is. You can also
cool, though.
find this unique jewel, Undying Hate. This jewel transforms part of your passive skill tree into an
Oh.
abyssal version.
That's
And
what is that
has
called?
multiple depths.
Like, was it Legion?
The deeper it goes, the more of your passive tree is affected, allowing you to fulfill your
They're just
fantasy
adding
of becoming
PoE
part
1
Abyssal Lich.
I still don't mind it because I like PoE 1,
Now, the
but
last thing that Abyssal Commanders can drop is a Finger of the Lich. But what use do you have with a random undead finger? Well, the next time you return to the Well of Souls, with the finger in your inventory, your character will almost feel compelled. To do what, though, you might ask? To jump in.
oh,
The items you threw in came back more powerful, right? So, what's the worst that could happen?
oh, okay.
Well,
This is
you will
cool.
just have to find that one out for yourself.
That's awesome because there's probably a
Along with the
new
introduction
boss,
of
right?
Act 4 and the Interlude,
Oh, new
we'll be
endgame.
adding 25 new endgame maps.
Okay, cool. Some more variety.
These maps will contain all the new monsters and bosses we're adding, improving variety and giving you opportunities to experience the new boss fights many times.
Awesome,
Let's
awesome.
take a look at some examples.
Does PoE 2 have more players than Diablo
Rock
4?
Falls is a map where you explore
at this
a
point,
shallow,
probably
rocky
not. But when the update hits,
surrounded by
100% it
coral
will.
and filled with sirens.
Diablo 4 is still a
At
really
the
popular
end is a
game, especially on
giant Goblin
console.
King boss.
Ooh, the
Ready
Goblin
to eat
King.
soul fight and squish you like a bug. Holton is an Ezomite township which has seen better days. Explore and clear the township to find a gothic, Reaper-like boss with the ability to manipulate storms and fry you with both lightning and wither you with chaos. Given some of the new bosses added are a bit more epic, such as the Act boss and final bosses of each interlude
Ooh,
part,
I can't wait to fight some of these.
it would be a bit of a waste to just use them as regular map bosses. Instead, we'll be adding some new mechanics to the Atlas that use them. These start appearing pretty fast into the endgame and will help bridge the gap until you do your pinnacle bosses. In the desert biome, you can encounter a wild sandstorm. 3 maps around the sandstorm contain a device you must activate. Upon doing this, the sandstorm's magic is disrupted, revealing the map inside and allowing you to access it and find the cause.
Oh, okay, so like another boss
This
or something.
presents itself in the form of a boss, similar to the existing Citadel bosses. This boss is a Faradin Swordmaster, who has been blessed with the power of a time gem, allowing him to take his swordsmanship to the next level by replicating himself, maneuvering rapidly, and severing the fabric of time itself with his powerful slashes. In the water biome, you'll encounter a giant maelstrom, where one of the maps surrounding the water biome connects to it, but the connection is obscured. You must run the maps nearby, hoping to find a beacon, which will remove the maelstrom and reveal the connection to that map. Another example is this Vaal vault in the mountain biome. But how do we get inside? Running the adjacent maps to it will yield a key, which you can then use to gain access to this vault. Or, you could just trade for one, I guess. Use the key to dispel the powerful force field surrounding it, leading to the Vaal Elite and their rewards inside. These all contain Uber versions of the Act 4 boss, and the bosses at the end of each part of the Interlude. And each have their own exclusive drop pool of new lineage supports, which, as Jonathan spoke about earlier, are powerful support gems that modify your skills in pretty crazy ways.
Yeah, I want to reread that Mirage
As an example
Archer
of a
thing.
lineage support
Let's see
which
what
can
this
come
is.
from the Faradin Swordmaster
If it
mentioned
shows up
earlier,
again. Because you
we
have to do a
Garo
dodge
Khan's
roll.
Resolve, which
I want to
causes
just
your critical
auto.
strikes to fork, but requires some mobility on your part to properly enable. From the boss sealed in the Vaal Vault, we have Paquate's Pact, which supports your war cries, causing them to inflict massive amounts of corrupted blood at the cost of your own life. Additionally, some maps can now
Wait, that's
spawn
straight up like
summoning circles,
straight from
a
Diablo
room
2 right
resembling
there.
an Ezomite henge. Activating this henge will spawn bosses. It's as simple as that.
Okay, I was gonna say it looks
Also
just
be
like
making
the
changes to
Stony
how
Field
affixes
portal
on
right there.
waystones work. As the current prefixes equals good, suffixes equals bad, iteration
I'll agree
isn't
with you on
quite
that. The
hitting the
PoE2
mark.
map endgame is more enjoyable
We
than
tried
Tits
something new here in
on
Path of Exile 2,
UG4.
but after seeing the feedback, we decided we actually liked what we had in Path of Exile 1 more. Like Path of Exile 1,
Are we gonna add
each affix
alterations?
will now be both difficult and rewarding. Waystone mods now grant an increase to the number of waystones dropped, and an additional specific upside attached to it. This means as you roll your map, they will continue to get more difficult and more rewarding, and allow you to customize the difficulty and rewards of your maps better. For example, the Frostbitten mod, which causes enemies to deal cold damage, also increases the rarity of items dropped as its upside. Whereas the Of Venom suffix modifier, which causes enemies to poison on hit, has the upside of granting increased pack size. Some maps will end up having a lot of rarity, some a lot of pack size, and others will just have a mixture of everything. Due to now having more modifiers granting difficulty, we will of course be reducing the difficulty per modifier to account for this. So, that's your Atlas, maps, and waystones, but what about Breach, Ritual, Pinnacle content, and others of the sort? We're making some changes around this too. The first change is that you'll now be able to invest 2 points into your specific League Atlas trees before having to run the Pinnacle content.
That's good.
There will be a specific objective for each type of content which grants you those points. For example, in the case of Delirium, it's simple. You just need to find and kill one of the bosses in a map, Omniophobia or Kosis. The rest of the points for each content come from the Pinnacle content, but we're making some changes to accessibility here too. Currently, access to most Pinnacle content requires the same key at the easiest and most difficult version of the content. This creates a negative feeling where at lower difficulties, instead of wanting to run the content, you're often better off just selling it to someone who can run it at maximum difficulty. To address this, each
So like tier
content
1,
will
2?
now drop splinters, which will not form into singular items. Instead of using the singular combined item in the Realm Gate, you can now just bring your splinters. Upon inserting the splinters into the Realm Gate, an interface will appear, allowing you to pick your difficulty,
so
and you'll notice each
that's good.
difficulty has a different
That's a really
entry
good thing.
cost. This means if you want to run easier difficulties, it costs less, which also allows you to
completely
run this
fair. I
content
like that.
much sooner into the endgame. Because these encounters now just require splinters, their corresponding atlas tree no longer affects the difficulty of them, and has been changed to purely affect the content and maps on the
So you can do the lowest tier one again and again?
The Arbiter of Ash works a bit differently.
Oh, okay, maybe this one's different.
Instead of requiring splinters, he still needs crisis fragments. We now have only 2 difficulties of the Arbiter. The first, requiring the existing fragments obtained from citadels. The second, Uber Arbiter, requires calamity fragments. These come from citadel bosses also, but only once you've allocated the maximum number of points in your boss atlas tree, ensuring those citadels are at their highest difficulty level. Since we're talking about pinnacle content, we also felt that the leveling curve in the late game was a bit too steep. We've smoothed this out a bit so that it's easier to get to the mid-90s.
Dude, it's so
Also
hard to get
added
to
some new in-game
99.
unique items.
So
Let's
hopefully.
take a look at a couple.
Like after you get
Thunderfist
like
is a pair of
93,
gloves
it's
that
really
grants
rough, man.
crackling palm.
Ooh.
A
Wait,
skill
hold on.
which
184 to only if unarmed. Okay, so these aren't like the same Thunderfist. Okay, yeah, this isn't even the same as
empowers your unarmed attacks,
PoE1.
granting the ability to call down the storms themselves on enemies you hit. Put simply, literally every monster you hit with your unarmed skills will be struck by powerful lightning. Pair this with the aforementioned Hollow Palm technique to embrace your true unarmed prowess in combat. Another unique we're adding is Henekura's Sight. Equip this amulet to be granted the power of the Mother of Death herself. This is reflected by granting you a skill called Foresight. While you have Foresight, your dodge roll no longer avoids hits. But instead, being hit while dodge rolling restores you to full life and makes you unable to die for a brief period of time. You'll notice when this does occur, a copy of your character appears and takes the full damage.
That's
This is you
cool.
seeing
Like
that
the little,
future, as if you hadn't been wearing the amulet.
That's a really cool, like,
Ultimately, your in-game
animation.
experience should be more streamlined. With new content to find, you'll be able to invest in your atlas trees sooner, engage with pinnacle content faster, have less FOMO running said pinnacle
There's not
content,
one bad change in
reach
this
higher levels
update so
easier,
far.
and do all of that while finding many
Which is
new
really
chase
good.
in-game items.
I'm just worried about, again, the nerfs
Talking
on...
about finding items is one thing, but what
Amazon.
about crafting them?
Okay, we need
We've taken a step
alterations.
back and looked at some of our
Ooh, yeah,
crafting
good-
systems to make some
good option.
notable improvements. Let's
Safeguard?
start with essences,
Alright.
which suffered from an issue
Yes.
where the regular essences were effectively useless and didn't give players the tools.
Yes, you
or
just need to be able to
excitement
use
that a crafting
essences
system should
on
provide.
a rare item. That's all you
To
need.
alleviate these concerns, essences are being changed in a few ways.
Can you upgrade them?
Firstly,
let's see.
they're being changed to function like regals and add specific modifiers with specific values, meaning you know exactly what you're going to get. We found that players were often bottlenecked by regal orbs when crafting in the campaign.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
this helps to fill that
Yeah.
gap,
Okay,
allowing
that's
you
good.
to better upgrade your items. For example, this Lesser Essence of Flames, which will be able to add a flat amount of fire damage to your magic martial weapons. Secondly, we're adding many more tiers. That Lesser Essence of Flames, for example, has a regular variant and a greater variant too.
But they need to make
adding
it
even
work
more
on a
fire
rare,
damage with
not
each
only
upgrade.
magic to rare. That's I think the main
The intention
area.
of this is so that when you find one early on, you don't worry about holding on to it till later to use on a higher level item. You should feel free to use them as they come to get powerful upgrades during the campaign.
Well, thank you, Rack.
Lastly, our highest tier of essences, now called Perfect Essences, will function like a Chaos Orb instead of a Regal.
Oh,
so
okay.
it will replace one of the modifiers on your rare items with the specified
Oh,
mod.
no, I just want
Such as
to
this
reroll.
Perfect Essence of Flames.
How
You'll
much are
notice
these going
this
to be,
one
though?
doesn't just add flat fire damage like the ones before it. The Perfect Essences often give something a bit different, with some opportunities to be pretty damn powerful. There are many different essences, each with many tiers, covering many of the more core modifiers you'd want on items early on, through to chase specialized ones for in-game. Speaking of in-game, we really wanted to expand our crafting options for late in-game crafting projects. You might have noticed that at in-game, you get way too many transmutes. Wouldn't it be nice if some of those didn't drop, but instead you got something a little more powerful? At higher levels, you can now find Greater Orb of Transmutation and Perfect Orb of Transmutation. These can be used on normal items to upgrade them to magic, ensuring that the modifier generated is of a minimum level.
Oh, that's kind of
This
cool.
is similar to how you find higher tier items on the ground, but for crafting.
That's better.
These higher tiers will
But why not
also
just have
exist
an
for orb of
alteration?
augmentation, regal orb, exalted orb,
Oh,
and chaos orb,
okay, that's
meaning you can get all of the orbs required to take your item from normal rarity to a fully completed rare with guaranteed high tier mods.
that is kind of cool.
On top of these new core crafting currencies, we wanted
Yeah,
to
there's
make
so
sure
many
there
more
are powerful
currencies now.
crafting bases to use them on. Now in Endgame, you can start to find exceptional items. These are items that drop at normal rarity and are perfect for your from-scratch crafting project.
Ah, okay, that's good. That's,
They can come
I
with
like
extra
that.
quality, up to 30%,
Okay,
or
cool.
an additional socket to use your crafting socket
Oh,
balls in.
okay.
And yes, they can be corrupted for yet another socket.
Ooh, dang.
You can also get exceptional unique items. To add even further
I
to
saw
your
that, the
crafting
Kotokos.
arsenal, we've added a whole suite of new omens to ritual content, and removed some of the more unimpactful ones that weren't being used. Some of the new omens include the Omen of the Ancients, which will cause your next Orb of Chance to not destroy the item, but generate a random unique of the same class.
Oh, so
Or the Omen of Sanctification, which is my new favorite. This will cause your next Divine Orb used on a rare item to reroll the values of its modifiers, allowing it to exceed the normal minimum and maximum values,
max
raising the
values.
ceiling on the new most powerful rare items in the
Okay,
game.
that's basically I added greater, it was like
This
greater
omen will
aspects
also
from
cause your item
Diablo,
to
right?
become sanctified. Sanctified items cannot be crafted, just
Oh,
like
okay.
corrupted
So it's like-
ones.
so it's like
consider
final.
carefully when you use this. Another is the Omen of Chaotic Monsters, which will cause your next Chaos Orb to reroll all modifiers on a Waystone.
Only on
allowing you to fix your
Waystone?
maps if you get some modifiers
I mean,
that are
that
not
is kind-
feasible for your build.
Okay, that's good.
Besides these examples, there is a huge variety of new omens for you to discover in your ritual encounters. With the release of Act 4, notably taking place in the Karori Archipelago, you'll be able to now find a new currency item, Penny Cora's Lock.
Yeah,
Penny Cora,
good,
the
good luck,
Karori
man. There's
goddess
gonna
of
be
death,
so
has
many
the power of
divines.
foresight, and is able to see many futures, including the outcome of your next craft. So, imbuing her lock onto an item gives you that same power too. For example, you'll know whether or not to use an Exalted Orb on your item, as you will know exactly what the outcome is. So, with all these new crafting improvements, it's safe to say you're going to be making some epic items, and not necessarily just ones for yourself. So given that, it's time to
Oh
talk about
yes,
the
dude.
massive
Okay, this is gonna be massive.
trade.
This is actually so big.
It's finally here. The moment we've all been waiting for. Fully asynchronous trade. Over the years, the
Yes.
way players trade with each other in Path of Exile
Oh
1
my gosh,
has
this is
morphed
the
from
best
using the
update
forums
any action
through to
RPG
the
has
in-game
had.
chat, all the way through
Last
to using
Epoch
the website.
was on top.
These systems, in all their iterations, work for a while, but with each iteration, new problems eventually reveal
No, they're
themselves.
always the price
Be it
fixers, the
requiring you to be in your
AFK.
hideout
Yes.
too much instead of out there
And then you
killing
had to go
monsters,
back.
or never getting responses from people who are either AFK or just can't be bothered. In order to finally solve this, and this has been a long time coming, we're adding a new system that allows you to buy items from other players without requiring the
The
seller
fact
to
that they
be
make
present.
it without
They
them
can
being
continue
present is even
farming,
better.
Killing monsters, AFK as they please.
Oh, and it tells you when
It
there's
can
something
even
sold.
be
Oh
offline.
my gosh, the offline
The
is like
introduction
massive
of
too,
King's
dude.
March in Act 4
Like when you
will
go to sleep and you wake up, you're like, dude, I wonder what's sold.
Assistant to
Oh,
Rogue in
it's
the
so
Meridian
good.
Free Traders Company. Over the last 2 decades or so, since Path of Exile 1's storyline, Faustus has handed down his knowledge and expertise to Ange, and she is now ready to take over his business. If you have a hideout unlocked already, you can immediately invite her there. If you don't have a hideout yet, you will need to acquire one. You can do this by completing a quest to defeat one of the bosses inhabiting an island in Act 4, allowing you then to take a slice of it for yourself, making it your new home and base of operations.
The last
Once
Epoch
invited to
update
your
coming out
hideout,
too, dude.
She will now serve as operating your current
What time does it go
exchange,
up, Ezreal?
but also serve as the figurehead in your new trading empire.
Yeah, but that managed shop, I'm hoping we get
how does this
more.
new system
Yeah,
work?
yeah. Do we have to buy more
In
stash
the
tabs?
existing trade system, you would list items for sale
Yeah,
in
yeah.
premium stash
20
tabs.
divines. What was that item?
And then when someone wanted one, you'd have to take it out for yourself and trade it to them.
you just go to their stash or like?
Now, instead of using those, you can give your items to Ange so she can sell them for
Does she
you.
charge you like
Each
items? Or
item
anything?
must have a price set. The prices are set using in-game currency items, such as Exalted Orbs or Chaos Orbs. Once a price is set, other players will be able to find the item by searching for it on
Oh,
the trade
secure
website.
item. Okay, what does this
Once
do?
a desired item has been found, you can hit a button, which will instantly teleport your character
Oh,
in-game to
from-
their hideout.
Well, you still have to use the other
Then
website to search.
You can
It's-
immediately purchase the item. And while there, if you want,
Oh,
browse
then
their
you
other
then you can
goods.
browse their
In
other
case there's
stuff.
A good deal someone else hasn't yet discovered.
Oh, that's even
You'll
cooler.
notice that as a buyer, on top of the currency
Oh,
the
it
seller
costs
set for
gold.
the
Why-
price,
why?
It also costs gold
It's
to
probably
purchase
to
an item.
make it so
As
people can't
Ange has
flip.
bills to pay after all.
I mean, it's not
As
that
a
bad. It
seller,
was like
you'll
1,000
immediately
gold.
receive a notification when an item of yours is sold.
I'm hoping the gold
And
doesn't
can
become a
also see an
bottleneck
effect
though.
above Ange in your hideout
Gold
when she
to
has
stop the
unclaimed
bots.
currency. Just go talk
But I mean,
to
if
her,
the item's cheap
claim
enough,
your currency,
they're gonna
and
get in
continue
anyways.
playing at your leisure.
Yeah, I like that. That's so good though. That's like
As
Again,
many
that's-
people already acquired,
it's gonna make it
premium stash
so
tabs
good
the
for people to
purpose
come
of the trade
back.
System, we wanted to add a way for you to convert your existing tabs to merchants tabs, if you want.
merchants.
You can do that here on the website,
Oh,
but only if you purchase those tabs before the release of the third edict. To clarify, the existing trade system will remain fully intact, so your premium stash tabs will not lose any of their functionality. We just figured people might want to switch over to this new system.
so with the premium,
We
you
expect
convert
a
them.
lot of feedback around this new system and are looking forward to trying it out with you. As we are not able to test internally with an entire thriving economy, there will certainly be some kinks to work out.
Yeah, sure. There's someone's
Based
gonna
on
do.
how the system goes, we will be adding it to Path of Exile 1 when
Oh!
ready, so any of the tabs you purchase will also be usable there later.
Convert old premium
Next
tabs
up,
to new
we're
ones.
going to be talking about
Yeah.
our new supporter
That's still good
packs.
though. But I think that
Today,
it would be nice to
we're
have both.
launching
But
two new
I
series of
understand it.
supporter packs. The Justice and Trathan Executioner packs.
All right, let's check out the new skins.
Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
So far, if those are the two
Justice
options,
series
it's
of
kind of
supporter
mid.
packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Claim glory after defeating enemies, or inspire your allies by calling down the Banner of Justice portal. The Sphinx
Okay,
Mystic
the portal's
hideout
kinda
decoration
cool.
will identify items for you, displaying them as it does so. This ancient creature has been presented
Okay,
with
that's
many
actually
items
kinda
over the
cool, but I'm talking about the
eons,
armor
but
itself
has
will look
some
kinda mid.
Strong expressions to make on the quality of your wares. Become a true warrior, worthy of delivering the justice of the eternal gods with the Apostle of Justice armor set. This armor set also comes with a matching back attachment containing a set of scales to measure your worth.
Oh, does it like
With the
interact certain
Apostle of
ways?
Justice finisher effect equipped, the Goddess of Justice herself will appear to decide
Okay,
on a
I think
verdict
that
for
is kind of
slain
cool.
unique enemies. Witness as she
unique enemies,
decides the
but-
fate of your slain foes. Will they ascend to be amongst the gods or be banished to the underworld? The Griffin fledgling pet will be your courageous companion as you journey throughout Rayclast. Take your place in the skies in the Plateau of the Gods hideout. This hideout comes with many
That's
different
actually a really
sections for
cool
setting up
hideout.
your home or base of
Wait, why is the
operations.
armor so mid, but everything else in the set is really
In
good?
order to travel between them, you simply just need to walk off the edge. Like a true eternal god, you can float between the mountains on the clouds themselves. The Trathan Executioner pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Trathan Executioner finisher effect is a brutal display of Trathan
That's pretty cool.
crushing slain unique enemies as if they were bugs beneath your heel. As a Trathan Executioner, you're the perfect master for the ever-hungry carrion raptor pet. It has taken a particular liking to the taste of other pets, and at your command it will swoop down and eviscerate them.
You
Proceeding
kill
to
other people's
satisfy its
pets.
hunger by feeding on their corpse.
That's kind of cool.
The nobles of the 4 major Trathan houses had their mercenaries, but if their hired hands became notably irritating, they'd have to call in the Trathan Executioners. You can now embrace their methods and become brutality incarnate with the Cruel Trathan Executioner armor set. The matching Cruel Trathan Executioner cloak will shroud you in scarlet as you crush the skulls of your enemies and leave a trail of blood behind you as you build up a kill streak.
Oh, that's cool.
Use the
Kinda
alternate
interacts.
variant to simply put a skeleton on your back. Be bathed in blood as you mutilate monsters with the Cruel Trathan Executioner character effect. The swirling blood increases in volume as your spree of slaughter continues. Both this effect and the cloak use the same kill streak for tracking how much blood is shown. After a long and tiring day of executions, enjoy
you
a
can gamble.
relaxing game of dice with the Goblin Gambler's Hideout decoration. They'll definitely be playing fair, right? The Pulverizer map device brings a horrid efficiency to punishing the damned of Trathis. Each map you open will execute the next victims.
Alright, what else is there? Is there anything else? Okay, it looks like that's pretty
This
much
map
gonna wrap it
device
up.
in its true ruthlessness tracks the total number of monsters
Ooh.
killed.
Oh wait,
your
that's
kills
actually
per
really
second,
good. I feel
your
like that
largest
actually
kill
is a
streak
pretty
up to the point
good
of the
thing.
map being completed. This is then displayed on a leaderboard, so you can take a measure of you and your friends' violence at the end of each map.
Okay, I feel like that thing is actually kind of an
Additionally,
advantage
any
that keeps you
microtransactions from the
efficient.
supporter packs will be made
Okay,
available
but it's
for use
not.
in
It's what's that like $90 though,
Additionally,
right?
measure of you
Yeah, it's. I think I want to say is 900 points $90.
and your friends'
But like
violence
that,
at the end of
I mean,
each
obviously it's the best one, but like I feel like that
Additionally, any-
almost kind of gives you an advantage in the
and your
game.
friends'
But
violence
anyways,
at the end of each map.
wrapping up my like
round
thoughts real quick on the whole like announcement. Oh, there's not one bad thing that is in this entire note thing. The one bad thing though that they didn't mention was that there wasn't a new class. I would 100% was like, oh, there's going to be the druid, there's going to be the assassin, there's going to be a brand new class, the samurai. I don't know. I was really hoping to see a new class, but I didn't see any nerfs, so that's good. However, we will have to check out the patch notes. Anyways, I'm probably going to be playing Lightning Spear. I think that skill is like the best. I think Amazon in general has been one of the strongest classes, but if Amazon is nerfed too hard, I'll play Roll Sork. But what are you guys playing in the new season of Path of Exile or new League Star, whatever? Like I said, I'm going to either play Sork or Amazon, because I think Amazon genuinely is really strong, and then they have that new deflection thing, so it's going to be good. Anyways, really excited when PoE launches very, very soon.